Claressa Shields' chances to win the 2026 ESPN ESPY Awards just got very difficult, in my opinion. In this video, I will break down what I just uncovered regarding Claressa Shields and why I believe it just became harder than ever for Claressa Shields to win this award this year, right? A lot of moving parts, but I will unearth, uncover, and unpack why I believe her chances of winning just became more difficult. So you definitely don't want to miss this video. Stay tuned. We be back so I can get unpacked.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live, Boxing Ego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live.
Hey, yay, hey, yay. We are all gathered here to talk about one quote and the chances of winning the ESPN ESPY Award. Man, things just keep failing for Claressa Shields. In this video, I am going to break down why it just became harder, in my opinion, for Claressa to win the ESPN ESPY Award. And this is going to be news to some of y'all. Stay tuned to the very end of this video because I actually have added some other things that you'll definitely be interested. Make sure you make it to the end of this video. Now, for the record, Claressa Shields actually has won the ESPY back in 2023. As you see, Claressa Shields won her first and only ESPY award. So she is an ESPY award winner where she took home the award for the category Best Boxer. Right? So I know some people are thinking like, what do you mean, Ego? How do you know it's going to be hard for her to win this year? She already has an ESPY award, Ego. Right? So again, she already won an award in 2023 for the category of Best Boxer. Best Boxer. Now, right now, I'm on ESPN and the ESPY's official page. And I'm not going to spend too much time in every category, but Best Athlete, men's sports, right? They got Matt Stafford, Messi, Jalen Brunson, blah, 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 right? So obviously she's not going to be in that category. But wait, there's more. Here's where it gets real fickle. In the previous year, she got the Best Boxer category, but pay attention to this. Under Best Athlete for women's sports, right, you have Asia Wilson, Hillary Knight, and so on and so forth. Notice there's no Claressa Shields at all. So in the women's sports athlete, she's not even nominated. Now, she did say, I am nominated, vote for me, but it's not in the category. Now, for me, I'm going to be real. I don't really pay attention to, a bunch of award shows and this, that, and the third. So I don't really know what's going on too much there, right? Because I believe, I don't know, outside of like Grammys and Oscars and stuff, a lot of these award shows are like super politics and get it wrong and that kind of thing. So I didn't really pay attention. But when she said she was nominated, I just assumed it was for a women's category, right? This is where you guys got to pay attention. But I was wrong because, again, Asia Wilson, who just beat Claressa Shields for the BET Award for 2026 Greatest Women's Sportswoman, she's being nominated. But again, Claressa Shields, nowhere to be found. So she's not even nominated in the women's category. Best Breakthrough Athlete. Again, this has nothing to do with her. Best Record-Breaking Performance. You don't see Claressa Shields, right? Best Championship Performance. Jalen Brunson might win that, you know what I mean? Because the Knicks just won for the first time in like 30 years, right? But let's keep going. Best Comeback Athlete. Again, no Claressa Shields. Shout out to the 49ers. My boy Christian McCaffrey. Let's get it. Hopefully we have a good season. So again, you're not seeing Claressa Shields on any of these categories, but we know she is nominated. So I started to think, I'm like, well, okay, what is she nominated for? Because clearly she's not in any of these categories, right? So I don't know. Here's an ad or something. Best single game performance. No Claressa Shields. Best play. No Claressa Shields, right? Best team. Boxing is not a team sport, so we know she's not going to be in this category, right? So I kept going. Best college women's sports athlete. She's not a college athlete, so we know she's not there. College men, skip that. Now, I'm surprised they didn't put her in this category. Best athlete with a disability, and I look for Claressa here, but I didn't see her. You know what I mean? Because what her family said is that she was getting a disability check. So I thought she might be in here, right? Because her cousin, her very own blood cousin, Shalita, said that Claressa Shields and her mom, applied for Claressa to get some kind of disability check. So I looked in that category thinking I was going to see Claressa Shields. Okay, best WNBA player. Again, Asia Wilson showing up all across the board, but Claressa's not in the WNBA. So I'm like, man, where's this Claressa category that she's saying to vote for? Best NBA player? Nope. NFL? Nope. All right. Stay patient. MLB baseball? Nope. Hockey player? NHL? Best driver? Right? So still, I'm like, where is Claressa Shields? And boom. Now, here's what just became very complex. If you remember when she won the BET Award, ESPN ESPY Award, right, in 2023, it was under the category Best Boxer, right? Meaning she would have only been up against other boxers. But now ESPN has fizzled that out, and now it's Best Fighter, right? Meaning combat sports in its totality. So you look at the nominees, is Claressa Shields, boxing undisputed heavyweight champ, but you also have Sebastian Fundora's sister, Gabriela Fundora, who's also undisputed flyweight champ, and she's knocking girls out, right? But wait, there's more. You have Justin Gaethje, who just had a fight at that White House and defeated a very top-rated, very highly rated fighter in Ilia Topuria by submission. Well, not submission, but he made him quit on the stool, so by knockout. And he beat earlier in the year Paddy the Baddy. So Justin Gaethje in MMA as a UFC lightweight champion, he's had a crazy year, right? Just this year only, beating Paddy the Baddy and then also beating Topuria. And then we have Terence Bud Crawford, undisputed in 3 divisions, with clearly last year, because these award shows, that's what they're looking at. What have you done in the last rolling 12 months? So we know what Crawford has done, and he beat the person you see in this picture, Canelo Alvarez. So he moved up 2 weight classes, but almost 3 weight classes, because Terence Crawford only had 1 fight at 154, and he was new to that division. And then he goes all the way up. I'm all the way up. Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way up. Right? Fat Joe voice. He moves all the way up to super middleweight to fight for undisputed in a 3rd men's boxing division. And then he whoops Canelo. I was born ready, right? He whoops him. To me, later in the fight, he really started to let the hands go and piece up Canelo to the point where it looked like he was going to maybe be able to stop him, right? So, in my opinion, now again, I'm not a soothsayer. I'm just giving you my opinion. Claressa her 12 months is the worst on this particular list. Like, if you look at Claressa Shields, because you can't include the K. Scott fight because it hasn't even happened. The award show is in July, right? It's July 15th, I think it is, right? And the K. Scott fight, July 15th, 8 p.m. The K. Scott fight is until August. So there's no way that fight, even though it's not even a great fight, there's no way it qualifies for you winning an award because that hasn't happened. So then what else has Claressa Shields done this year or in the last 12 months, right? She pushed Franchon Cruz-Dezurn, lied and said she was headbutted, right? And Franchon Cruz-Dezurn, who she had fought 4 previous times from the amateurs to the pros, even beating Franchon Cruz when she was 16. So while Terence Crawford is fighting a guy he's never sparred with, never fought in Canelo Alvarez at a higher weight class, Claressa Shields her only fight as of me recording this video this year is just against a girl in Franchon Cruz who she pulled up in weight. She was a champion at super middleweight. You pulled her up to heavyweight. And then on top of that, you and your team, there was a melee and she had heels on and she was accosted and she fell and like messed up her ankle or leg or knee or whatever, right? And you had already beaten her from the amateurs to the pros 4 times. You had already beaten her. So you already knew since the age of 16 that you had her number. So that's not really noteworthy to me. What else did she do? She hit Alicia Baumgardner. I hate the way you run your mouth. I hate the way you run your mouth. We're not giving you props for that. That don't make you the best fighter because you're fighting in unsanctioned environments, right? And then you're doing it with security around. So does that really garner any praise because you assaulted somebody and then bragged about it? I hate the way you run your mouth. Come here, get your lick back. Get your lick back. It never affected her. It never affected her. He be at the fight. Like, none of this stuff. You're with a married man. You're assaulting fighters and then bragging about it and threatening to sue them in their promotional outfit. You physically touched Franchon Cruz and it went the distance, even though she was injured and even though you had already fought her 4 previous occasions, right? This is not screaming best fighter for the 2026 award. Now, again, if I'm lying, I'm flying. I've already went over Terence Crawford and what he did, right? You can look it up. That fight with Canelo alone is more impressive to me than Claressa Shields fighting a girl she already knew she can beat since age 16. Again, when you look at the resume for Claressa Shields recently, 18-0, only 3 knockouts, 3 little petite knockouts, right? K. Scott, again, the fight happens after the award show, so that we can't count that. I've already told you what happened pulling up Franchon Cruz-Dezurn, right? Making her fight at your weight class and then assaulting her, right? And then previous to that, last year you beat Lonnie Daniels, who was 11-2-2, right? Not even though she came back and later beat Shadesha Green, right? It's not like she had some crazy resume, right? So you went the distance there. And then before that, you fought Danielle Perkins, who only has a record of 5-0. So very inexperienced. So we're talking about a 2-time gold medalist and reported GWOAT fighting people, even in her new fight, fighting someone with 7 fights, a loss and a draw, and only 5 wins. And then you had someone who was 5-0 at the time with no knockouts, barely, just like Claressa, and you only had 5 fights. Now, currently, it's 6-1, but at the time she fought Claressa Shields, this girl was inexperienced at heavyweight. Claressa herself already said that the girls at heavyweight are big and clunky and pretty much slow. So, again, and the more I look at it, the more it looks like a pipe dream, in my opinion, for Claressa Shields to even win in this category, right? Because again, they didn't put you in a boxing only category, which to me hurts. Like if they had best MMA fighter and best boxer, maybe that would help you. But then when you add names like, and then the other thing that hurts her is you're up against men. You're up against male fighters who had great 12 months. You know what I mean? Like Crawford and Gaethje, right? And you're up against another female who's an action star and undefeated fighter as well, right? So you have zero, like in all your 3 fights, you have 0 knockouts. And then some of the people that you're fighting are not even considered to be on your level. And then on top of them not being on your level, you're not stopping anybody. But Sebastian Fedora's sister, she already has the same resume as you, literally, right? Same exact amount of fights, 18-0. But the difference is she knows how to finish her opponents better. And instead of the 3 petite knockouts that Claressa has, Fundora's sister has 10 knockouts. So that's almost half of her fights are ending in knockouts. And well, actually it says 55%. And she's actually getting better with stopping people, right? So this fight earlier against Viviana, she got a knockout in 6 rounds, right? And you see all the belts on the line. Last year, she fought Alexa, 13-1 girl, knocked her out in 7, right? Also fought against Mary Lynn Badillo Amaya. Again, like I told you, another knockout. So her last 3 fights have been in a knockout. And I'm not going to include this, but it really was a knockout too. But that was in 2024. So I think that would probably be out the kind of 2025, 2026 window range. But she's on a knockout streak regardless. So she has, if we include 2024, 1, 2, 3, 4 knockouts. But if we include what I believe to be the years that they're looking at for this award, 3 knockouts in a row. And she's undisputed, just like Claressa Shields. So Claressa does a lot of running around like, I'm the GOAT. But then there's people with some very impressive things going on in their own career. You have a female fighter who is also undisputed, also fighting top-rated people in the division. Actually, I would say the people she's fighting in per capita, per division, are rated higher than a lot of Claressa Shields' opponents, right? Whereas, like, there's always some, like, Franchon is rated, but she's also rated at a lower division and you brought her up. But with Gabriela, there's no bringing up people where they're in unfamiliar territory and fighting at heavyweight. She's not doing all that. So she's not weight bullying or fighting with any kind of gimmicks going on, right? And so on and so forth. So the more I looked into it, the more I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't see how Claressa Shields is going to win. I don't see it at all. Like, the competition is far too strict this time, right? Before, when you're in the best boxer category for that given year, maybe you were the best boxer. But now, again, you're in the best fighter character. The only category you're nominated is best fighter, which means male or female, right? And then again, Justin Gaethje, he's the last person I didn't go over. He just knocked out Ilia Topuria, who is fighting, who had previously fought Max Holloway, who was durable and knocked out Gaethje in the past, right, in the final 10 seconds or whatever. And Topuria knocked out Holloway, who Conor McGregor is fighting this weekend, right? So Ilia Topuria being beat up on the White House lawn, that was a super impressive win, and that was in June 14th, right? And then you have Gaethje again fought Paddy Pimblett, Paddy the Baddy, and decisioned him and bloodied his face up bad. And then also had a third fight last year. So give me these 3 fights for Justin Gaethje, and I believe he's on a 3-win streak and now a champion again at lightweight. And what he did to Paddy and to Poirier, you gotta put that over Claressa Shields in the last year. So yeah, it's gonna be hard for Claressa Shields to win this. Now, I do understand that the fight with Justin Gaethje, right? We already know it's more, how do you say it, entertaining, right? The Gaethje fights. Look, he busting up his opponents, right? Look at Paddy the Baddy's face after the fight, right? Look at Poirier after the fight. Hit the wrong button. Right? Let's see if we can get some pictures going. This is what he's doing to his opponents, right? Mangling their face, a lot of power, and showing that experience. Had Poirier, in my opinion, Poirier quit. I watched the fight. He quit. He knew it was getting worse and worse, and he had tried his best, and there was no give, and Justin had the upper hand, so he ended up quitting. So how does Claressa Shields, when you have fighters fighting very hard, like Poirier, I think it was in the second round, Poirier landed some nasty body attack, right? It's very nasty, to the point where Justin Gaethje had to bite down, otherwise he was going to get stopped in that particular round. So guys are having these type of performances, and it was on a White House card, so the stage was however many people watching it, new Paramount deal. I don't see how Claressa Shields can triumph against Terence Crawford or Gaethje, let alone her female counterpart who she's up against in Gabriela Fundora. I don't see it at all. So that's probably why Claressa Shields is out here begging people to buy tickets to her fights and begging for people to vote, because from my understanding, the ESPY Awards are a type of awards where they're fan voted, but even still, I truly don't believe Claressa will win here, right? I could be wrong, but I could also be very right. I don't see it. How does she win when the competition is male and female, which hurts her, right? If you're going up against only females, so she's bragging like ESPN put me #1 pound for pound. Cool. And she's putting these posts like, I will not be denied. But what are you talking about? Be denied against who? A OF model with 7 fights? Look, ha ha ha, good morning. And she's throwing rocks. Me throwing a rock and not hiding my hand. And then on top of it, you have all these weird posts, right? So it's not even making you a likable person. I'm not even going to read all this. The last 2 years, I've been lied on, defamed, hated on, harassed, and people have tried to bully me. But ironically, these have been the best 2 years of my career. I bet. So we'll see if they're the best 2 years of your career, or if you and you win the ESPY Award, right? Or if you get slaughtered and lose again, just like you lost the BET Award, which is what I'm banking for. Come back to this video. If I'm wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, but I won't be, right? I don't think I'll be. I think she loses here, right? So you could talk and pop all this stuff and post memes and stuff, but where are your brand deals? Where are your sponsorships? Where are the big corporations and companies seeing you with a married man and being like, yo, Samsung, we want Claressa Shields, and we're going to give her a bag to represent our company. You're not seeing it, right? You're not seeing it. Terence Crawford, he is doing events in like Africa, right? Australia. He was like on like some world tour. And over the weekend, when you had a fight with Abdullah Mason, it was announced that Terence Crawford is doing commentary for TNT DAZN, and he did commentary for the Abdullah Mason Albert Bell fight. So for Crawford, he's not having no problem as a retired fighter, still getting a bag and opportunities to be in or around the sport of boxing, because he doesn't go out quite exactly like Claressa Shields, and he's definitely not with a married woman or something, right? Like Claressa Shields is. So she can keep posting all these little memes and, wow, it's July 6th, exactly 2 years ago, I met MC Papoose. So crazy what could happen in 2 years. This was our first time meeting in our first picture. Again, she wants to stay and stick with this. I met him at the Shakur fight, but I've already made videos about it. The timeline does not match up. You had a whole fiance in May, confirmed in June. So how did you go from Tony Rich in an engagement scenario to meeting Papoose and talking every day and love at first sight and inviting him and giving him free VIP tickets to your fight, and he went out to your fight a couple weeks later, to in August you guys are together and your fiance Tony Rich is called off? So yeah, that's another reason you probably won't win the ESPY. Your career is in, you could lie and say, oh man, my career's in the greatest spot. You know what I mean? Harriet. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. All right. You can say, oh, my career's in the best spot it's ever been and everybody loves it, and keep lying to yourself and stay in Delulu land, right? But at the reality is the rest of the world doesn't see it like you, right? Look, first comment I've seen, she looked like Evander Holyfield in this pic. Like, like what? She looked like Holyfield is crazy, right? So Claressa is not getting any, like you're like Aunt Jemima in pajama bottoms, sparring with a scarf on, sparring against or not sparring, but preparing for an upcoming fight that nobody asked for. And then you got baddies, pose for me, so no time, like, right? You got a Zeus baddies card that's been met with a lot of resistance, because it's like, this what it's come to, huh, Rissa? Is this what it's come to? Ray J on your undercard? Ray J on your undercard? Like, this is what Win Records, Salida promote. You got all these hands in the cookie jar, right? All these different people in your respective camp or whatever, right? All these people in your pocketbook, and then that's the best they could do is come up with a card with Big Lex and Tasheki and Ray J and Orlando Brown. Really? Just to give you an idea, this is Ray J, who's on Claressa Shields' undercard, and this is what he said in a recent interview.
I can get rid of tomorrow.
Why?
What the ones you can't, the tattoo ones that's tattooed forever?
This man said he'd rather get a STD than have a baby. Right? Like, what is even going on? This is Claressa's undercard, right? This is her undercard right now, and he's currently getting punched on by Ryan Garcia and doubling over, and then making comments like, I don't mind getting the bump and burning, as long as it's not one of the temporary ones. As long as it's something I can get some penicillin or go to Planned Parenthood and fix.
Those are scary.
They are.
But it's fine because, you're not going to live forever, so you might as well take a couple hits.
This is Claressa Shields' undercard. So again, yeah, I'm not seeing the vision. Don't see how you win at all, right? The competition is too stringent this year. It looks like they combined the category to the point where you're up against men. That changes it exponentially. You keep talking about this GWOAT stuff. I'm the GWOAT. All right, now you're going up against real competitors and real men who also face real challenges. In Justin Gaethje, which I went over earlier in the video, and Terence Crawford. Shout out to them. And then the only female you're up against had a crazy year, also undisputed, fighting better competition at flyweight, and is knocking the opponents out where you're going the distance. So Claressa's going to beg for you guys to, go out and vote. I don't even really see that from all the other fighters, right? I don't really see them going out begging people to vote. And it's funny because Claressa Shields will do an interview and say like, oh, I don't really care about losing the BET award. I already have a lot of awards. It don't really matter to me. But I guarantee you she out here begging for people to win the award, right? So, yeah, we'll see if she wins it, right? We'll see if she wins it. But I don't know if you lose to the two men. Gabriela Fundora did post this, like, vote for me for an ESPY award, right? She also has a major promoter, Golden Boy, backing her, best fighter hands down. And she's like, yo, I got nominated for my very first ESPN ESPY Award Fighter of the Year. I would love it if you can help me and vote for me. So she's never won before. She's excited. So she put a little post as well. But I don't even know if Justin Gaethje and Crawford, the men, because Crawford has won an ESPY too. I don't know if they're out here campaigning and putting posts. But I think the competition is very strict. And to be in the category where, yeah, I'm on Gaethje's page right now, right? To be in a category with this level of competition, look, I don't even see nothing him posting anything like vote for me. Let me check his story. Yeah, I don't see nothing. But anyway, competition is just too strict. I don't see Claressa winning. But no matter what the outcome is, because I don't have a final say in it, I will let you know the update. But bad news for Claressa Shields. Your whole catalog, your resume is being questioned, your profile's in the gutter, and then now, just like the BET Awards, I think you lose again, back to back months. You lost to BET Sportswoman to Asia Wilson, and I think you're going to lose to one of the male counterparts. And if not, I think you lose to a first-time female boxer in Gabriela Fundora, who's doing marvelous in her own respective right. You don't really have, you keep talking about, I got the best accolades and the most, and nobody's touching me, and ESPN put me number one, pound for pound, number one. We'll see. We'll see if you win this. We'll see if those accolades translate to you winning the ESPY award. Again, I would pretty much be shocked if you can beat all the people you're up against, right? I'd be shocked. You know what I mean? So you guys do your part and vote if you're interested. In the description, I'll put a link to the ESPY Awards so you can vote however you want, vote according to who you think should win. I'm just giving you my personal opinion that given the year she's had and the bad press and, lack of endorsements, not really big opportunities. Again, she's the one making them sound grandiose. Oh, I did 18,000 in my hometown and all that. So we're going to see. We're going to see if all these things she keeps mentioning equates to a victory here. We unpacked.